A large number of you commented on my How to Find People to Play With video, and you said that the real endgame of Deep Rock Galactic is the people, and making friends through the game, and I think you were all onto something important. Several of you asked directly to just play with me, and I'm glad I made contact with you. I've been playing with a lot of amazing people, and I've been learning things from all of them, which I think is the best reason to reach out and play with all kinds of new people. Diversity is the best source of great ideas and learning new possibilities, but it also asks for a kind of flexibility that can be easy if you're curious about the game and how others play it, but can sometimes be really painful. And I realized that a lot of my more painful encounters had to do with when someone's behavior runs counter to my own sense of integrity, my values, or how I see myself. I jinxed myself at the end of my last video. Not even a day later, a random level 17 player came in as scout into a Has-5 lobby I was playing in. And while we all got through the mission, my attitude towards them joining was not good. And I realized, reflecting on it, that one reason I was so unhappy about them coming in was because I'd been intensely uncomfortable bringing my Silver 3 scout on Has-5 missions, even when people encouraged me and said it didn't matter. Thing was, it really mattered to me that I be able to help the team as a scout if I was going to play that class, especially on a Has-5 mission. While I couldn't conceive of going into a random Has-5 lobby as a Bronze 1 scout, obviously this person had no problem doing so. And it bothered me that he did something that I felt was rude for me to do, and I could have assigned the intent of being rude to him, but I think that would have been wrong of me. He just had no clue what my values were. Most people are nice, but when values have a mismatch is when people stop being able to play with each other. Someone who doesn't value anyone's lives, including their own, above getting the mission done quickly, will always annoy someone who deeply values leaving no one behind. People who hate being surprised and who need a ready check from everyone before every stage will have a really hard time with someone who believes that nearly any stage can be done in parallel with another to get ahead of that next swarm. Some don't have the time or energy to repeat a mission, so hate failing, and have a hard time with people who risk failure in order to finish the mission even faster because they don't have the time to sit around. People who feel that they need every resource will have problems with someone who only mines and deposits what they feel they need to get through the next fight. I can play on either side of those values, if I know or have some hint as to what those values are, but not everyone can or is comfortable doing so. I also find that I feel terrible if I cross someone's deeply held values, and I'm really glad when people can speak up to tell me what I need to do for them to feel comfortable playing with me. Like when Supernova asked me to take off It's a Bug thing because she hated killing golden loot bugs. So, if someone seems to be doing something you consider rude, it's good to tell them that they're making you uncomfortable and why. Then they can either go, "Oh, I had no idea," or tell you why they thought it was a perfectly reasonable thing to do, and then both of you get a chance to either change what you do or decide if it's better to just not play together as much. It's not always an easy thing to do, but at least it gives you both a chance to stand up for what you value. A lot of people have asked me how I like to play, and I don't have an easy answer. I mean, I knew that I liked playing with people, but the more I played with more different kinds of people, I realized that part of what I loved was being able to see what they were doing well enough for me to fit in with their style. Going fast with those that want to go fast, taking the time to enjoy the cave with those who stop to see the crystals, laughing at the chaos of 3 or 4 player bug spawns in Has-5 with people who are used to solos or duos, staying at home with Doretta or creating defensible positions for others to kite things into when they wanted to roam, staying silent and watching the scanners so much more closely with those who don't like using comms and listening all the harder for the few words they did say, or just letting those who like to talk all the time to talk and try to listen intelligently. And I also realized that after a certain level, players don't care if you're worse than they are, because they're used to everyone being worse than they are. Streamers all have an ability to engage with their audience while playing that I was in awe of. I can't talk about other things and play well at the same time. I salute them all, and while I did my best to fit into Supernova's and Ryer's style of play while playing with them on her stream, I realized that streaming is not my way. I realized from Milligan's questions of me that my most important value is to not let down the team. I think most people are that way. The only reason I've done solo is to make sure I know how to do all the missions as all the classes, and now I know I can pick up the whole load by myself, even on Has-5. Solo is a good capability check, but for me, solo limits what I can know about the whole mission situation to only what I can see. I'm very much about comms. And I mean comms the way Pizza once described them to me while we were doing a demo review. He said, comms are telling everyone what you're doing and seeing and listening to what everyone else is saying. It's that simple. I added helpfully, it's not telling everyone else what to do. It's not complaining about your play, trashing your teammates' play, cursing the awful map, or ranting about the terrible, no good, very bad luck you're having. It's not screaming incoherently or giggling until you can't breathe. There was a moment of silence. Way to call everyone out, Autogyro, said Pizza. Well, including myself, I said, laughing. Well, indeed, real comms aren't always great communication. The intent of comms is to allow everyone to understand what's happening in the whole of the mission, so they can make their best choices about what to do next. And not make people look around for a ping, not make people check their maps to see what you're haired off to, and not make it so that people have to interpret intricate, funny, dwarven voice lines about what you're doing or what's happening to you. I admit that one of the hardest comms in both TF2 and R6 was to get people to tell everyone when they've died. The shame is real. Several people, whom I respect, have made it very clear that clean comms aren't necessary to get through Has-5s. But they're what I like to have, and comms make it easier for me. I like putting together the big picture of what's happening all around, even where I can't see, so I can best figure out what we need to get through a mission together. So if someone isn't in a call with me, I feel half blind. When I bring my old TF2 friends on as brand new players, we lean pretty hard on comms to even explain how the missions work and what to focus on as the most dangerous targets. I was so impressed with Milligan's crew because there was really nothing for me to do to fit in. They swept me effortlessly through multiple missions in a way I'm still amazed by and trying to process. They're all just so good at their part of their game together that there were no comms, no overt coordination, just things happened as they ought to, and we were done. Milligan also did something I'll never forget. Coming into my play crew, he cheerfully asked us to do a couple of missions where we would go and mine every speck of gold out of the caverns, bending one of the rules we'd loosely held. And we had a blast breaking that rule as thoroughly as we could. That was eye-opening, that sometimes the things we think are rules might actually be something that's sweet to defy. The combination of playful and effective was something I loved and had gotten a taste for when Axis Kronos showed me his flavor of playful, creative, and effective that comes with all his knowledge and experience in the caves. There's a balancing act between speed and mission success. The game's balance often reinforces elements of that. Most of the speedy folks I play with just take failures in stride and go back at it even faster. Like with my Carl Would Be Proud efforts, Benny Copter said that it's just a matter of iteration and determination. Any competent player can attempt speedruns and get faster at any type of mission over practice and improving what went wrong the previous times. Random cave generation and spawn generation makes it so that it's not all under your control, but with enough iterations, even that flattens out over time. But you can't be afraid of failing by really pushing to get the next objective done. I do love the ferocity and intensity of that approach. I'm learning more about how to iterate. Olaf Forkbeard and I have attempted some regular deep dive runs, where our main goal is to just get it done faster as a duo. We've managed to halve our times from 40 minutes to 20 minutes, and there is still room for things we could have done better. But I also want that ease of play that Milligin had with those he regularly plays with, that way of making every mission success nearly a given. It's akin to Snoop and Ben Copter's ability to play so smoothly together, it's like watching one wheel in action at two locations. And while my old friend group loves just chilling at Has 3 and 4. The coordination is super smooth and we're fast at what we're all comfortable doing. And I realized a huge component for me was that we would back each other up when things got hot. When there was a huge swarm, we would help each other stay up so that we could all play for more of the mission. I like throwing shields onto overwhelmed positions. I like using my NG turrets to cover for lithophage spikes. I like getting to my teammates as a scout and helping with cryobolts or my grenades so that they don't go down, or drill so that everyone can escape. I acknowledge that none of that is mission progress. But everyone has a better time because they can play for more of the mission, instead of just going down helpless to do anything but watch. It's far faster to back someone up than to have to take the time to stop and revive them. And as far as I'm concerned, if they're up and fighting, we'll get through the mission faster. I really thought I was too bad at the game to be able to attempt modded Has 6 missions. But Olaf brought me along on a duo, and we got through cleanly. And then Milligin and H2Oh dropped in on us and showed us that, with them at least, Has 6 was chaos and a half, but we could still do it, and the amount of teamwork that was necessary to do so was satisfying. It was also pretty tiring. I like the downtimes that happen in Has 5, and I was surprised, though, by my ability to play at that level. I had to edit this to cut out my musings about being not good enough to even try modded Has play. So, I think I found my compass. The things I want to do, be a better team player with the teammates who like playing with me, and to hit the kind of challenges that my friends want to do, and to step up my game in order to play creatively and well with the people I enjoy being with. And I have to say, it really is about the people. You've all been amazing to talk with, laugh with, and fight with, and you've all cheerfully answered all my questions, forgiven me my faults, and listened to my thoughts as well. Thank you all for your attention and for pointing out how friendships are the endgame of Deep Rock Galactic. I appreciate you all and hope to meet more of you in the mines. Autogyro